We live in this highlight reel culture of these people doing amazing things with their body, but we don't realize that's the accumulation of a lifetime of training.
All right. Hi, I'm Erika Barber, a pathophysiology professor here at George Fox, and I am so excited to be here with Mark and Kara Johnson. Married for how many years?
19.
19.
Mm-hmm.
4 active, super fun kids and local legends in our fitness community here in Newberg, Oregon. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Erika.
We're excited to
It's
be
an honor.
here.
All right. As I recall, you all have some history here at George Fox.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Mark came here first, so I'll let him go first.
I came here to get an undergrad and play basketball, not necessarily in that order, but I ended up being able to do both. And along the way, met my wife, Kara, and we started dating here and then got a teaching degree after I graduated with a degree in biology and never left. Became that person that everybody talks about not being when they're a freshman at George Fox, about moving to Newberg, coming to George Fox, and then never leaving.
Getting married.
Yeah, and then never leaving.
And now it's like it's a date all over again in the studio. Mm-hmm. Good to have you all here. And I'm particularly excited to talk with you and share your story with others because as I've watched your family in friendship primarily, and also in getting to benefit from your fitness expertise and getting to be part of your class, and Mark having your influence on my kids and their love of sports. I've been struck by the Johnsons care about fitness. They have joy in it. They love exercising, but they're also sacrificing their free time and time as a family or time maybe to do other things in order to help others succeed in exercise and sports. So I'd love to ask the question, why? What is it about exercise that is so valuable and you think is worth that time and investment to help others do it?
It's a big question. I think it starts with learning a love for it for yourself. You know, for me, I grew up with active parents who really encouraged my brother and I to be active and to pursue like a physical passion in some way, I guess, with sports. Like for my mom, it was swimming. So she had my brother and I in competitive swimming pretty young, learning how to do that. And I think just learning to love the feel of pushing your body in like a healthy way and even a competitive way for me was a start of learning to love fitness myself, and not even looking at it as fitness as a younger person, but more of just a pursuit, I guess, that was fulfilling and fun and, you know, made you feel successful and strong. And then just, you know, growing older, becoming young adult and realizing that it is it's a healthy pursuit. It's a healthy pursuit for your body physically. It's a healthy pursuit for your mind and your spirit. And it's a form of self-care. And I know Mark and I had some good friends who shared those passions, and they were huge influences on me as well. You remind me of actually one of my biggest influences. Yours and her personalities are very similar, and it's interesting that we're sitting here like at George Fox talking, because she was actually one of my professors at Fox, but we became really good friends. And sharing that love of fitness with friends. There's something so powerful about that. I think that is why I still believe so strongly in group fitness, and that's not what I do as a job and a passion, and that's how I share with our community, is just doing fitness and being active with other people. There's such a bonding element to that, and there's really cool, strong, I just feel like you bond with other people. So there's a total social element to it. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind is just the development of loving fitness, finding it for yourself, and then just realizing it is so powerful when shared that you just can't help but want others to experience it.
Mm-hmm. You agree? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's kind of been two routes. I've spent a lot of time in the youth sports space in the last 10 years with our kids starting to play youth sports and coaching them through. And it's been really great to get to be a part of that entry-level experience into competition and to fitness for them, and to help them and their teammates get an appreciation for what it does mean to be on a team. And there's so many life lessons that we can start to lay the foundation for with them as part of that experience. From simple things like, it's okay if it's hard, you can do hard things, to here's how we treat teammates, here's how we handle winning and losing, and all those things. And then the other side of it is just the appreciation of nature and getting to go share those experiences as a family. This last weekend, we were at Lincoln City and we did the hike up to God's Thumb. The 2 days before, we went to the knoll, and we kind of pointed out to where God's Thumb was, and the kids were like, we want to go there.
Wow.
And we're like, okay. So we did, our almost 6-year-old did a 4-mile hike on Friday, and then he did a 5-mile hike on Sunday with lots of treats along the way,
sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to be able to be there with our kids and to share in God's creation and to look at these really cool and majestic places and get to experience it with the bodies that he's created, to be able to enjoy that. And we think about our friends, Jeff and Melanie, and Kara referenced them. We spent so many years just running around, doing everything from, triathlon training to Jeff and I climbed Half Dome at night and stood on top for sunrise. Well, we hiked. We didn't climb, sorry. We hiked the backside of Half Dome, and we're on top for sunrise in the morning.
Wow.
And then we ran down and high-fived our wives, and they ran up and did it together. And getting to share those experiences of God's amazing creation made possible by these amazing bodies that he's given us is what it's all about. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also just telling our kids, you take care of your body, you get to do and experience more of these amazing, beautiful things.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. I've been running more this summer, and it's not because I've wanted more aerobic. In fact, I'm trying to get ready for perimenopause, menopause. I know that I need to start doing more strength training, less cardio. But even though my head knowledge knows I need to start going more that direction of lifting heavy weight, the desire to be out in nature, and I get to go run through vineyards coming up, and just to be able to go see beauty. And there's a great gift when we're functionally able to get out, and especially to do that as a family. So cool, and not to be taken for granted. Okay, let's talk about, what about for those folks who don't see themselves as athletes? Maybe they don't come from a family, or are not currently, the people surrounding them are not necessarily folks who see themselves as active. But we are all built with a capacity to grow and for our body to change from good stress. So what would you say to those folks who don't see themselves as athletic or they would see this topic as kind of just not relevant. They don't know how to relate to it. Mm-hmm. How would you encourage them to see themselves differently, or how to get started?
I feel like this is what I do.
I think so too.
And this is what I love about it, is empowering people, because our bodies are, I must start crying. This is so weird. I don't cry about this stuff, but it's so powerful. And I've been learning a lot lately too. Our bodies are like most alive when we are moving, but the key is moving, right? It doesn't have to look a certain way necessarily. And it doesn't have to be a big, scary start if it's a starting point. For someone, it can be starting small. It can just be walking. But I have witnessed women who would come into my fitness studio, and just the first thing out of their mouth would be like, I'm not strong. I'm not an athlete. I'm not athletic. I'm not coordinated. Our bodies are so resilient, though. And just simply choosing movement over being sedentary is a huge, huge step. And I've been fascinated by the things that I've learned lately. I don't consider myself super great at remembering statistics and numbers and things like that. That's his strength, probably yours too, Erika. But just knowing all and getting to share all of the really great chemical things that happen in our body simply from increased blood flow or from a simple muscle contraction, things that help our bodies to build neurons, to feed our tissues of our body and cleanse our body. The brain benefits that happen. All kinds of wonderful, amazing things that happen simply from movement. But it doesn't have to be, I mean, I've been injured these last few months. I've just been having to learn to love walking. But even when we're on walks, like, we have the best conversations. I can tell there's still really good things happening there. And a starting point is all you need. And your body will surprise you. Your body will adapt. And you mentioned good stress. Our stress is viewed as bad in a lot of contexts, but our body responds to stress in positive ways, as long as it's a good stress, like you said, like within reason and appropriate amount. And
I'm going to geek out medically.
For a
second.
Go for it. I love this.
I'm in geriatrics. I care for the elderly, and often what we'll see is folks are okay as long as nothing bad happens. But then if bacteria enters the picture or something, it just throws off one body system, and that throws off another, and it's really difficult to get back to homeostasis. And what exercise does is it teaches your body to bounce back, to be able to take a temporary stressor and be able to bounce back to where you used to be, get that homeostasis back again. And it teaches the body, all right, it looks like maybe we need to build more bone in this particular part of the body because this person's doing a lot of jumps. There's this stress at this part of the bone. We need to build more bone there. Great. That's how you prevent osteoporosis. Or, all right, evidently my person thinks it's normal to run 6 miles or longer, and so I need to put more mitochondria in the cells of the muscle, to allow those physiologic changes. And it's okay if the heart rate goes up high, because the body is trained through exercise, knows there's going to be a rest eventually, and we can come back down. So it's training the body to handle unexpected things and know that it's okay. But if we don't train the body that way, then when unexpected things happen, there's a huge cortisol response, that fight or flight, which is fine in the short term. But when that keeps happening or we live with that elevated cortisol, that bad stress, then we see our body adapting in negative ways. We're not designed to constantly be in fight or flight. So as I get farther along in my journey in adulthood, I'm appreciating more and more. I have power to train my body for hard things that are probably going to come in the future. And I can do something about that. Mm-hmm. I have one story too, when you're talking about starting from scratch, starting from a low level. I got to talk to my mom on the phone yesterday, and she loves walking. She loves being out in nature. Mm-hmm. And she and I had talked about this study called Lift More, which is in postmenopausal women, showing that women it's good, even if you have osteoporosis, it's good to lift heavy and to do plyometrics and jumps.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Mom, go ahead, and when you're doing your walk and you come up to a curb, go ahead, put both feet down and jump up that curb. You can trust your body to do that. And my mom's really fun. She allows me to give her ideas and takes them. So she did it, and she told me yesterday, Erika, guess what? I was at the gym and I stacked 2 blocks on top of each other, and I jumped up from it and I jumped down. And I used to, a couple weeks ago, be afraid to jump up one. And she said, I know. She said, I just wanted to run around the gym and get high fives from everyone. But to anyone else, it doesn't look like a big deal to jump up 2 blocks. But I was like, it just goes to show, like, our body, all of us, our body can adapt and grow stronger. And we have power to direct that. And it's so fun.
At any age.
Yes.
You can do hard things. Your body can adapt to stress at any age.
Yes.
Yeah. Fascinating and good for your mom.
I know.
She should have given everybody a high five.
I know.
I think that's one of the things that holds people back, though, is we live in this highlight reel culture, whether it's on Instagram or social media or whatever. We always see these highlights of these people doing amazing things with their body, but we don't realize that's the accumulation of a lifetime of training. Start small and then celebrate your successes. I think that entry point for people can be intimidating just because they're like, wow, this person is able to do all these amazing things. I'll never get there, or I can't do that right now. Well, what can you do right now? Can you go for a walk? Great.
Do that.
Consistency over intensity. Do it every day.
Yes.
And then eventually you'll get there. Just had a conversation with our oldest this morning about how this is a long life, buddy.
He's 12, almost 13.
He's almost 13, but we're just talking about building habits and basically like stacking. It's like, this is a long life. And you just start stacking stuff right now, and you'll see the dividends down the road.
Well, and I think, too, if you walk around giving high fives, exercise has the potential to be a gift, not just for your own body, but for those around you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you see this in group fitness and team sports.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's a newer concept for me to like appreciate that when we bring our best selves and we exercise with intensity and love and joy and like a sense of accomplishment, it changes how the people around us exercise. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. There's been a lot of mornings when I've been on the bike at 5:30 and I'm like, I'm just going to mail it in today. I'm going to sit here in quiet and just pedal and
in a class, by the way.
In one of Kara's classes.
I'm just going
to just sit here and pedal.
You see him slacking in the background.
On the bike by himself in the garage.
I'll put my 45 minutes in. I'll sweat a little bit, but I'm not going to go hard this morning. And then somebody starts chirping in the back, and then I take a peek over the side. Oh, okay, I got to pick it up. And then Kara yells at us to double it. And, I
don't yell.
encourages us loudly.
Well, I have heard from my husband, Nick. I said, Nick, I get to interview Mark and Kara tomorrow. If you could sit down with Mark, what questions would you ask? And he said, Erika, there's a lot of guys that I get to swim with in the morning, but by far, Mark is the most consistent. He's there day in, day out. I would ask him, what drives you to be that consistent? What's your motivation? And then how do you do it? What are the obstacles that come up? And how do you handle those obstacles?
It's habit at this point, and it's chemical. Yeah. It's 100% chemical. Like if you got to skip workouts for whatever reason, it's bad.
Bad later.
Like life is harder later when I don't work out in the mornings.
And are you talking about mentally and emotionally?
Yeah. Yep. 100%. It's a lot of it is emotional regulation. Like I know I will be my best self if I go exercise in the morning. I also have goals. Like I want to be able to coach my grandkids. I want to be able to be active. I want to still beat Luke when he's 16 and one-on-one.
Ooh, that's a big goal. I've seen Luke play basketball. There's goals still. They've changed. Like before kids, it was like, I want to be an Iron Man. Now it has to be modified a little bit because I can't run anymore after my hip replacement. But, it has become habit and routine. And if you know anything about middle-aged men, we are all about habit and routine, but it's become routine. And then I also recognize like, hey, it makes me better as a person later in the day. I'm able to handle more just because of the energy release, the neurochemistry that happens when we exercise and when I get to see your husband in the morning and we get to race a little bit next to each other. And then, also, just like I have plans for down the road for how I age. I don't plan on like fading into the sunset. I had a really interesting conversation in the sauna one day with a gentleman. There's two guys in there with us, and one of them was like 75-ish or something like that. And he was telling us about racing motocross, like motorcycles on dirt tracks and stuff. And he just coming off breaking his arm. And I'm like, you're almost 80 and you're out there doing that? Right on. He's like, yeah, and I still ski and it's great. And he gets up and leaves. And then the guy next to me is like, I come here every day and, I swim and then I sauna and for 10 more years of television? I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the first guy that's out there still crushing life at 80. And that doesn't happen accidentally. That happens through intentional work and intentional like decision making. So, yep. So can I ask you all a hard question? I know you both have felt the success of high level sports and athletics. And then you've both felt the devastation of injury and a change of course from your plans and your hopes. What advice would you have for Mark? You're a high school coach and a coach for youth younger than high school. What advice would you have for youth who get injured? I'm thinking in particular the runners. Like, boy, the cross-country team and track, there's a lot of injuries that happen. And especially kids who are pushing themselves hard. Their heart wants it more than anyone else out there. And then the injury comes and there's just so much patience required. So can you tell us what have you learned from those setbacks? And is there purpose in it? Is there meaning? Is there anything good that comes from it? And what would your advice be for those who are having to carry that right now?
I think one of the things with Kara's injury that she's been walking through that was really good for me to see, I'm like, well, man, where was this a year ago when I was coming back from my hip surgery? Was not identifying as being injured. But I'm healing. Instead of saying I'm hurt or I'm injured, I'm healing. And just that little, in my mind, just that little transition it goes from, okay, like I'm broken. I'm in this place where I'm stuck. I don't know when this will be over with, to like, no, I'm repairing. I'm getting better. There's a path forward for me. Like I can see the end of this journey rather than just I'm stuck at the beginning and I don't know what's going to happen. And then in that, like when we're healing, that allows us to be like, it's okay. This is a nonlinear process. I don't have to get better every day. I just need to be continuing to heal. And I think for me, that was a really big transition and changed even how I've continued to approach the healing process from my hip replacement over a year out. And it's still like, there's still little gains that happen every week, every month, and that I can say like, I'm still healing. I'm not done yet. And I think that's probably the biggest part of that is just like, I'm not done. I'm going to come back stronger. I'm going to continue to grow and to improve, and I can still reach my goals because I'm in this healing process, not in this like broken state, you know.
That's going to serve you really well when you're in your geriatric years, even when it's not injury, but I don't know, a heart attack or eye disease or loss of hearing or whatever is in our future of dealing with difficult parts of our body, to have a mindset of not defined by that disease, but kind of where you're wanting to go beyond that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's been an inspiration, like watching Mark heal, and his discipline has really served him well, that you mentioned earlier, just consistency. So definitely moving, even when, you know, he's been moving this whole time. Yeah.
And just like building diversity. Like, okay, maybe your primary sport's not running. Now you're going to diversify your...
Now it's swimming.
Now I'm a swimmer. Now I'm a swimmer.
Mark always used to... Mark has the longest legs pretty much ever.
This is so bad.
I'm amazed he can float, but he's gotten good enough at swimming. We always used to joke that he would just mostly sink. But hey, he persevered.
So what would your advice be?
The first thing that comes to my mind is just make movement non-negotiable. Ask yourself, what can I still do? And just do a lot of that. Do a lot of the things you can still do. I also have a hip injury. I overtrained most likely, and training for a half marathon last year on top of teaching lots of group fitness classes, and wound up with a stress fracture in my acetabulum of my hip, or stress reaction based on what I've learned and read. That's kind of a red flag I don't know if it's for men and women, but definitely for women, of possible overtraining / not nourishing well, or not nourishing at the right times around workouts or things like that.
Ooh, so, can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
That was one of my questions too. How do the Johnsons fuel their bodies?
Think about... We've been learning a lot.
Yeah. I think about food so much differently now. You know, it's not about calories or whatever. It's like, how do we fuel our body? Yeah. Food is such a gift.
Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's the macros, getting those more dialed in or whatever. I mean, I just turned 40. You mentioned perimenopause, menopause. I know I'm just dipping my toes in, but it's not like things don't start in your late 30s. Like your hormones for women are already starting to change. And I've been reading and educating myself a little bit more, because this was, for me, a wake-up call of, oh my goodness, like I need to make sure I'm fueling properly to prepare for this decade ahead too. I think we have definitely focused on protein intake and increasing that.
When?
So depends.
Okay.
If you're a woman or a man.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can.
For me, it's just whenever.
Yeah.
The more protein, the better.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's like the window is huge for me. It's like
I
the
think
windows.
Mark should talk about this, because he's the data guy.
So some of the stuff that we've been learning, especially for women, timing is huge. Timing's critical about like when to get protein. And essentially the window is pretty small. You need to have some protein 20 to 30 minutes before your exercise. And then you have a 30-minute window for protein intake after exercise.
And carbohydrates too.
And get some carbohydrates in there. And for men, it's wide open. 18 hours. Just get it in at some point.
Well, and I've heard like carbs think of as like the worker bees and the protein's the material.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so if in that 30-minute window after exercising, get your workers in there and make sure there's material.
Yeah.
And it's almost like get that fuel in and then do your stretch. And it's almost like I'm kind of thinking my post runs differently, like fuel my body right away so that my muscles can start to rebuild. And then I can really take some deep breaths and stretch and maybe there's some debate out there about it, but I'm just pointing that out. Like I'm really thinking more about fuel the timing of it, because especially when we go into menopause, we're losing estrogen. Weight tends to shift from away from under our skin and instead go to our middle. And so then there's this self-consciousness now. We have a weight where we don't want it. And so we can tend to eat less and work out harder to try to get rid of those 5 to 10 pounds. And we actually put ourselves in a state of low energy availability.
Guess what happens? Stress reactions in your bones when that.
Yes. Yes.
Or just more weight gain. Your
Right,
body's
for
like,
women-
your body's like, for women, it's
for
like,
women
hey, I'm
especially-
going into famine. I need to store
Right.
fat. For
Right.
men, it's a little bit like, for men, it's a little bit different. Like that fasted exercise or that calorie restriction works a little bit differently. But a lot of it is like, oh no, I need to store energy.
Yeah.
Like you said, low energy state is a thing. Like women's bodies especially will go into that state and stay there if they're not getting adequate fuel. And sometimes at the right time. Like if you wait a couple hours after a hard workout to eat, your body stays in that breakdown state.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy.
So I think the takeaway for me is love moving and love food for the gift it is, and move and eat out of thanksgiving for the body that we have. Don't move and eat motivated by how we look, because that's just a slippery slope into not taking care of our body well. And if we want to be still moving late into our years, late in our life, it's the function and fueling our body well that will get us there, statistically.
Yeah.
We're at time, you two. One final question I want to ask you is, let's say your 4 children stumble across this video a couple decades from now. What would be your takeaway that you would want your kids to remember and think about in this subject of taking care of our bodies?
You mentioned the word of function. So if our goal is to glorify God, to help others, to enjoy this beautiful earth that He has created, then we must move and fuel ourselves and put stress on our body with intention in a way that gives us the strength, the mobility, the mental capacity, the emotional capacity to go do those things, to care for others, to care for the family that our children may have, to love well, and to be able to live with joy and have that life of glorifying God in those ways. So looks have nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But function does.
Looks are fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say be a good steward. We've been given an incredible gift from each of us. And granted, we're all individuals. We all look different. We all function differently. We all have different capacity. But we've been given a gift. We need to be a good steward of it, because if we don't take care of this, then we can't take care of anything. Yeah, I've seen just a number of times, like, you don't have any problems. You have a lot of problems until you have a health problem, and then you have one problem.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And so if we can take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others, and we can take care of the gift that we've been given by God, the mandate that we've been given to glorify Him and to share with others. And that's why we would want to take care of our bodies.
And I hope that helps any listener who wrestles with getting out to exercise because they see it as selfish. You know, like,
No.
I know that's a common voice in our head, but it opens up so many more opportunities in the short term to encourage those around you to take care of themselves. And in the long run, who knows what opportunities we have to use our body for good down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Amen, friends. I'm excited to be continued running into you at town and at the park. I'm here with Mark Johnson, teacher at Newberg High School, basketball coach, soccer coach. And watch out, at any time one of my kids plays against one of your kids, we know it's going to be a tough game. And Kara, I am so grateful for you and your comrades in starting the Level Up Gym here in town. It is about so much more than what we typically think a gym is for. So thank you for your perseverance in that. Thanks for your courage in that. And keep going. Keep fighting the hard fight.
Thank you, Erika.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Erika.
We appreciate you.